And the explosive-laden quadcopter skimmed above the rooftops of southern Lebanon, navigating with precision between bombed-out buildings and along dirt roads. The drone gave its operator a clear first-person picture of its target, an Israeli tank with soldiers standing nearby. At the top of the picture, in white letters, were two words:
The United Arab Emirates has lifted all flight restrictions put in place since the start of the United States and Israel's war on Iran. The country's Civil Aviation Authority has announced all air operations have returned to normal status in UAE airspace, the General Civil Aviation Authority said in a statement on Saturday.
The United States has approved $86 billion in arms sales to Middle Eastern allies amid the US-Israel war on Iran. The sales come after US Secretary of State Marco Rubio cited emergency circumstances to fast-track the transfers without prior review by the US Congress. The citizenry forgets to its own peril how important a free and independent media is in the preservation of their personal freedoms. Today, on World Press Freedom Day, it is worth reflecting on the state of our media and how continuing restrictions on its ability to function independently may, in fact, jeopardize individual liberties. There is no democracy without accountability of power, and how is accountability possible if one is punished for speaking up? Such is today's dilemma as press freedom goes through yet another tough phase, with lawfare, enforced disappearances, online campaigns, harassment, and harsh financial tactics employed against those attempting to express opinions deemed unfavorable to the power wielders.
And while Pakistan remained preoccupied with facilitating talks between the US and Iran, the public discourse largely overlooked critical developments on other fronts, particularly internal security challenges and a worsening relationship with Afghanistan and the approaching first anniversary of the Pakistan-India standoff. The enthusiasm surrounding Pakistan's role in a high-stakes global diplomatic effort has in many ways diverted attention from pressing domestic and regional concerns. In this fixation with great power diplomacy, media and opinion makers have also failed to adequately reflect on how the war is affecting the ordinary citizen. And while one can't look at the sky and ground at the same time, walking while gazing upwards can be dangerous, especially on a bumpy terrain.
United States President Donald Trump has said he is reviewing Iran's 14-point proposal to end his war on the country, while warning that Washington could restart airstrikes if Tehran misbehaves. Speaking to reporters in Florida before boarding Air Force One on Saturday, Trump confirmed that he had been briefed on the concept of the deal. Peshawar. A lawyer on Saturday moved the Peshawar High Court challenging the recent transfer of 3 judges of the Islamabad High Court to other provinces, along with the relevant constitutional provisions. Advocate Hastam Khan Khalil filed a petition in the PHC requesting that the Judicial Commission of Pakistan's JCP's April 28 decision to transfer judges of the IHC be declared un-Islamic, unconstitutional and illegal, along with the relevant articles of the Constitution.
And Al-Qaeda leader had agreed in writing to relocate by September 2011. 2 brothers sheltering him sought separation, citing exhaustion. Agency claims to be entirely unaware of the relocation plan, says delayed raid would have missed the opportunity, Washerisms. A decade after the operation that killed Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, a fresh Central Intelligence Agency CIA account reveals that the Al-Qaeda leader nearly slipped out of his hideout months before the US raid.
If even one extra person is able to access the internet, I think it's successful and it's worth it, says Sarhand. The Iranian man is visibly anxious, speaking to the BBC outside Iran, as he carefully explains how he is part of a clandestine network smuggling satellite internet technology, which is illegal in Iran, into the country.
When Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, serious-faced and clad in black, strolled down a lilac carpet in Saudi Arabia in March, it marked a moment in the US-Israeli war in Iran. A rather unexpected one. In a post on X, he said his visit was to strengthen the protection of lives. A rescue team on Saturday released from a barge in the North Sea a humpback whale that had been stranded in shallow waters near Germany since March. Witnesses said nicknamed Timmy by German media. The whale was spotted swimming near Germany's Baltic Sea coast on March 3, far from its natural habitat in the Atlantic Ocean.
Ask.com, the search engine and question and answer service formerly known as Ask Jeeves, has shut down. Ask Jeeves first launched in 1996 and, with its focus on answering conversational questions posed in natural language, was arguably a precursor to today's AI-powered chatbots. For most of its 30-year history, however, it's been overshadowed by other search products, especially Google. The organization behind the Academy Awards released new Oscar rules on Friday, including several that address the use of generative artificial intelligence. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences said that only performances credited in the film's legal billing and demonstrably performed by humans with their consent will be eligible for Academy Awards. Similarly, the Academy said that screenplays must be human-authored to be eligible. A drone strike carried out by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, has killed 5 civilians in Khartoum, according to an NGO. The attack, which emergency lawyers, an independent legal group supporting victims of human rights violations in Sudan, reported on Saturday, is the second to take place in the capital within a week. It follows months of relative calm in the city after government forces regained control last year.
And at least 6 people have died in heavy rains in northeastern Brazil, with thousands more displaced. According to authorities, the deaths were reported in the Pernambuco and Paraíba states on Saturday, following 2 days of rain. And a humpback whale calf that earned huge media attention and the nickname Timmy after being repeatedly stranded in shallow waters near Germany has been released into the North Sea by rescue team. The operation to save the sea mammal, launched as its health deteriorated, transported Timmy in a water-filled barge and released him off Denmark on Saturday.
The governor of the Mexican state of Sinaloa said on Friday he will temporarily step down from his post. Days after he was indicted in the US on drug trafficking charges, Ruben Rocha Moya, the governor of Sinaloa since 2021, and 9 current or former high-ranking Mexican officials were charged in a 5-count indictment unsealed Wednesday with allegedly helping a faction of the cartel led by the Chapitos, the sons of Joaquin Guzman Loera, also known as El Chapo. Victor Gyökeres and Bukayo Saka starred in Arsenal's 3-0 win against Fulham on Saturday as the Premier League leaders moved a step closer to their first title in 22 years. Mikel Arteta's side demolished woeful Fulham with a 3-goal first-half blitz at the Emirates Stadium.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has reiterated warnings to Belarus not to get involved in Russia's invasion as he reported unusual activity near the shared border between the two. In a video address shared on social media on Saturday, Zelensky said, without offering details regarding the suspicious activity along sections of the border, that Ukraine is ready to respond.
Madrid has demanded the release of a Spanish citizen who was arrested during a raid on a flotilla headed for Gaza and taken to Israel for questioning. Foreign Minister José Manuel Albares told Catalan radio station RSC1 on Saturday that he was concerned about the illegal detention of Saif Abukeshek and called for him to be released immediately. Somali pirates have hijacked an oil tanker off the coast of Yemen, according to multiple Somali security officials that spoke with the BBC. The Yemeni Coast Guard earlier said the tanker MT Eureka had been hijacked and was headed towards Somalia. Sources said it was overrun by pirates in the Gulf of Aden, near the port of Kana.
Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has arrived in Eswatini, days after his government said a trip had been cancelled due to China pressuring African countries to stop him flying over their territories. His visit to Eswatini, Taiwan's only diplomatic ally in Africa, followed days of careful arrangements by the diplomatic and national security teams. He said, without giving further details on how he reached the country.
And Yemen's Coast Guard has said that it is attempting to recover an oil tanker that was hijacked off the coast and is now heading towards Somalia. The MT Eureka was seized off Yemen's southeastern Shabwa province as armed assailants boarded and took control of the vessel, the Coast Guard said in a statement on Saturday. The hijackers then steered the tanker to the Gulf of Aden towards the Somali coast. And Austrian police have arrested a man suspected of lacing jars of baby food with rat poison in what authorities presumed was an extortion scheme. Police, cited by the APA news agency, said the suspect, aged 39, was apprehended in the state of Burgenland, south of Vienna. They did not name him nor say where exactly he was arrested.
Driverless cars are becoming more common in some California cities, but when the autonomous vehicles violate traffic laws, police haven't been able to ticket them. Until now, the state's Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, has announced new regulations on autonomous vehicles, AVs, including a process for police to issue a notice of AV non-compliance directly to the car's manufacturer. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius has said the US decision to withdraw 5,000 troops from his country was foreseeable. As the NATO military alliance says it is seeking clarification from Washington. Speaking to the DPA news agency, Pistorius also stressed that the presence of American soldiers in Europe, and particularly in Germany, is in our interest and in the interest of the US. Audiences will have to wait a few months longer to see Narnia, the Magician's Nephew, with the release date pushed back from Thanksgiving to February 12, 2027, in addition to relaunching Narnia on big screens and serving as writer-director Greta Gerwig's first film since Barbie. The Magician's Nephew also looks like the next step in Netflix's relationship with movie theaters, and it's becoming an even bigger step with the delay.
Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi on Saturday called on Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and briefed him on the security situation in the country, the Prime Minister's office, PMO, said. According to the PMO statement, Naqvi met with the Premier in Lahore, where he briefed him on the security situation in the country and the measures taken in this regard.
The governor of Mexico's Sinaloa state has temporarily resigned days after being charged by United States authorities in a sweeping drug trafficking indictment that has further strained relations between the two countries. In a brief video statement posted late Friday, Ruben Rochamoya again denied any wrongdoing, but said he was taking temporary leave to defend himself against the U.S. allegations.